Good morning everybody. Either myself or one of the others is ill today, and I wanted to take you through this Strange Landscapes cover worksheet. Of all the cover worksheets we've got, this one is my favourite because it builds the foundational skill of blending colours together and varying the pressure. So how hard you press with the pencil into the paper. And it really doesn't matter what year you're in, what topic you're doing, that foundational skill is just something that you've got to master in order to really move forwards. So you can see the areas that I've shaded already through combining two different colours and using a shading pencil. But the key thing, and it's this thing that's really hard to explain, it's a skill of your hands, is where you press harder and where you press lighter and gradually fading that pressure off. The whole sheet works imagining the sun here is the light source, so you can see that the lighter side of every shape is the side focusing towards the sun. In terms of materials, everybody needs one of these to themselves, and some colour pencils, sharpener and a shading pencil. If you can get a shading pencil that says 2B or 3B at the bottom, that would be even better because that would let you shade darker. You don't need a full set of colours. You could just do it with 4 or 5. What you do need though is colours in pairs, and pairs that sit next to each other on the colour wheel or on the rainbow, because colours that sit next to each other on the colour wheel are easier to blend. So red and orange are really easy to blend. Another example might be, well, in this set I've got light green, dark green. I'm going to find those very easy to blend because they're quite similar. We could do blue into purple or into violet. So they look a little bit more different, but they'll be okay. What's hard to blend is colours that are opposite on the colour wheel, and they're very different. They have high contrast. So red into green, you're going to have a really hard time trying to blend red into green. So I wouldn't recommend that. I mean, if you want the challenge, go for it, but they are the hardest to blend. So before we look at this sheet, I'm just going to demonstrate it on a normal square piece. So this is going to be a red-orange blend with a little bit of shading pencil. So it's good to separate which colour is your darker one. So of these two, orange is my lighter one, red's my darker one, and then shading pencils going last. I'm going to have this left-hand side as the darkest side. Now what you should see is all the way to the end is going to be orange, but it's going to be darker on this side and blend lighter on this side. About halfway, maybe just over halfway, is going to be red, and then half that again is going to be shading pencil. So we start with the lightest colours first. I recommend turning the paper around a lot to suit you. Start with the darker first. So here at this darker side, I'm really pressing as hard as I can. And I've got to gradually fade so that I get to light over here. So I'm pressing hard, and then as I move, I'm changing the pressure in my hand. Now there, I've faded out already. So I need to go back and correct. Darker, darker, darker. I should be about at the middle by here of what I'm capable of. And then gradually fading out. Now fading out really gently, so you can just faintly see it. So orange goes all the way. Now red, because red's the darker colour, it's going to only take up that much space, but we're going to do the exact same activity. So darker here, but gradually fading out. Now it's really important that you fade out gently here and that you don't just stop abruptly. Otherwise your blend's going to look unrealistic. And then shading pencil. So shading pencil, only going to take the very tiniest bit. We're going to make it look really dark at the edge. And then we've got to blend that pressure off, so that it fades away and somebody looking at it can't tell where the shading pencil has actually stopped. That's the smoothness that we're looking for. So what you've got there is a really realistic blend that's going to help things look very three-dimensional. So taking that activity, you could repeat this activity if you want on the back of the sheet. It depends how confident you're feeling. Some people might get it straight away just from seeing it. So I'll let you decide there. So this is the sheet. Now obviously I've allowed myself to change colours, but what's going on is I've got to look at the shape that I'm picking. You can pick a bit of an alternating colour scheme. So here I've gone green, purple, green, and then if I could see another one, it'd be purple. I've got brown, orange, brown, orange, brown. You've got to respond though to the light source, which is the sun in the corner. So you can see all the sides furthest away from the sun are darker and all the sides closest to the sun are lighter. So let's just do just one shape together. So I'm going to pick this big shape here. So the side furthest from the sun is kind of here, isn't it? We're going to pick two colours that are next to each other on the colour wheel because they blend easier. Let's pick dark colours so it shows up on the video. So I've got deep indigo here, which is like a deep purple, and fuchsia, sort of a darker version of pink. I'm going to do the lighter one first. That was my advice. Press harder on the side further away from the sun. Rotate the paper to get yourself in a more comfortable position. If you rotate the paper but it means you do a neat job, that's fine. So just nice and precise. I like to do the outlines first because then I know I'm going to get an accurate result. I tend to be a bit messier and move quicker when I'm blending. So darker here, and then as we come up this way closer to the sun, gradually getting lighter. So that's the lighter of the two colours. Now thinking back to this activity, with the red we only went to about just over halfway. So I'm going to get that darker colour, dark in the corner, furthest away from the sun, and blending. So you don't want it to look like just a hard outline of that darker colour. You've got to blend it so that it smoothly fades away. Someone who picked up your work and looked at it to inspect it shouldn't be able to see a hard line where the dark colour or the shading pencil just suddenly stops. And then let's add in the shading pencil here. So we're only going to put this in the very, very darkest edge. And we're fading it, so it's not outlining, it's the opposite of outlining, we're gradually fading it. Quite happy with that, looks quite realistic. So I could do another pair there and then do the two purples again. Just looking all the time at where the light source is. I just really want to emphasise before I finish, this is not just colouring in without thinking. So if you just colour this in, you have really missed the opportunity to have a good cover lesson. I know I can't be with you, but this skill, fading and changing the pressure with your pencils, is really foundational to good work. And this is my favourite sheet because it's the opportunity to have real meaningful practice at that skill. I'll take them in at the start of next lesson, so if you don't finish it, I'd like you to take them home for homework. Obviously try and finish one section because you can't take my colour pencils home and you want to have the exact same colour pencils when you carry on. Right, I look forward to seeing what you do. Just last recap, changing the pressure with your hand, absolute foundational skill. Use the two colours. Repeat this activity as your first step if you need a little reminder or just to work out what it is you're doing.